For the last 2 episodes, we were literally outside as we brought to you 2 fun-filled episodes. But today, we're coming to you from our headquarters at Smithfield Plaza in Scarborough. It's a pretty rainy day today, so we're going to be heading inside shortly. This is Let's Talk Tobago. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Davia Chambers, and we hope you enjoy this episode. In our lineup of stories this week, we tell you who won the Miss Tobago Heritage Personality Show and the Tobago Heritage Calypso Monarch. We take you to Goodwood for the Yam Festival, and you'll meet market vendor Kevin Paulson. All these stories and more when Let's Talk Tobago returns. Stay with us.
A seed was planted in her for us to take care of. Her feet are grounded, guided with every step. Fertile ground for our culture to grow. She asked us to go back to the bush. The bush gave us permission. Her tears like rain nurtured the garden and we bloom. We are bountiful crops for an amazing harvest. We live in abundance. Tobago pays homage to she that becomes more beautiful through the years. We birth our traditions. We continue to move our way through trials and tribulations. 36 years of building our history. This is deemed worthy. This is a sacred cycle. This is Tobagonian pride. This is the Tobago Heritage Festival.
The Tobago Heritage Festival 2023 officially began on July 21st with the opening gala production, which featured the Miss Tobago Heritage Personality Show and the Tobago Heritage Calypso Monarch. In this story, you'll meet the winners. There's a new Miss Tobago Heritage personality. She's Melinda Alfred, who represented Delicia's dance agency. She edged out 6 other competitors to be named this year's winner. She won $10,000 and $25,000 sponsored by First Citizens to go towards a community project. Melinda also won Best Talent.
Right now, I still feel anxious and a bit of disbelief, but I'm truly grateful to God, my family, my friends, and all the persons who've been encouraging me through this whole journey.
Taking the second spot was Tanika Crookshank, Miss Sisters in Culture. Tanika also received the special awards for Miss Intelligence as she topped the pre-judged segment, Conversation with the Delegates, and Best Gown Portrayal.
Contestant number 4, Miss Tanika Crookshank. And she's representing Sisters in Culture.
Meanwhile, Mason Hall's Sabrina Henry placed 3rd. The mother-daughter duo Sharon Phillips and Andrea Baldo once again was named Best Designer. Their gown was worn by Goodwood Police Youth Club's Crystal Lashley and featured hand-painted images of cultural icons. In the Calypso segment, young Gave Sandy is the 2023 Tobago Heritage Calypso Monarch. She won $40,000 with a powerful rendition of her calypso, All Are We.
Something to hold on to. Something to hold on to. They gave it to me and you. Value to our self-worth. Take our place on this earth. Know what they have taught us. There's no holding back. Our unique traditions of all. Their fighting spirit, we do not lack. So now we could stand and sing brave and bold.
Caston Cupid placed 2nd with his song, Have We Done Enough?
Their tears and energy, they hope that you and me would take along.
And Samuel Rasringo Morris 3rd with Pay Homage. The Tobago Heritage Festival 2023 ends on Emancipation Day, August 1st. It is one of the more picturesque villages in Tobago. Can you guess where I'm speaking of? If you said Charlottesville, then you're right. And for this year's Charlottesville's Natural Treasures Day, many persons made the trek to the eastern community to experience this very authentic production. Take a look at this story.
Indigenous to Tobago's culture, the Tobago Heritage Festival 2023 kicked off last weekend. This festival is one of the most talked about festivals in the country, drawing people from near and far. On Monday, all roads led to the beautiful fishing village of Charlottesville for their annual hosting of Natural Treasures Day.
You are here to experience Natural Treasures Day. And for those who are here for the first time, Natural Treasures Day really speaks about the way we lived as Tobagonians, how we live, our everyday lives, from aspects in our agrarian lifestyle to how we got coals as a form of energy, how we did our laundry, how we baked, how we cooked, how we produce our juices, how we built. Literally every aspect of our life is touched on during the day, because what you'll be experiencing today is a very intergenerational type of experience. You will see the very old, the middle-aged and the very young all participating. It is an immersive experience, so please immerse yourself in the experience. No one will rebuke you for participating, for taking away a bamboo from somebody and hitting it on the ground. Try to keep the rhythm as much as is possible, and just learn as much as you can from the experience.
This is actually my first time coming to the Charlottesville Natural Treasures Day, so I want to go and try the buttermilk, and then I want to visit the saw pit. It looks quite interesting. I am looking forward to getting a little bit of Charlottesville culture as well, how close-knit the society is and how strong they are driving community-based tourism. So just trying to get a little bit of everything in today.
Charlottesville is always an experience. The vibes is nice, the people are very hospitable, and the food is amazing.
This year's theme for the festival is homage, paying tribute to all are we and all are who are we be. I'm Raina Elaine for Let's Talk Tobago.
The village of Goodwood has been reintroduced to the Tobago Heritage Festival calendar. So our producer Omadara Mills made her way to the village of Goodwood for this year's Yam Festival, Old Time Village Market, the Little Miss and Junior Heritage Personality Shows. She has all the details in this story.
Connecting with our African ancestors through food, in particular with the root crop yam. It's the star provision in Goodwood as the community celebrated the New Yam Festival and Old Time Village Market, part of this year's Tobago Heritage Festival.
The New Yam Festival celebrates the end of one agricultural cycle and brings in a new cycle, hence the name New Yam. So it's a celebration of taking out the old yam, bringing in the new yam. So it celebrates the abundance on the estates, abundance in planting, abundance in life, richness, fullness. So that is why we call it New Yam, new things. Old things have passed away, the new things have come.
You know, people always want food to eat and fresh, nice food and local food to serve. Today, we had a good sales up to the time. Well, the produce is concerned.
We came here today to really display yam foods. So I had like yam drops, right? I had yam punch, I did yam dumplings, I did yam pie, right? And I did like a dry fish, smoked dry fish. I did chicken stew down in coconut with provision, and I also did some dashimba stew.
Since we came to Tobago, we heard that there was going to have this festival, so I came because I never ate yam dumpling before, so I was interested. That was good. I never ate anything like that before, but it was great, especially with the callaloo and the stew. Oh, don't talk for the cuckoo.
I've been enjoying it quite a lot, especially with all the different types of foods here and the drinks that are made out of yam as yam base. I'm really enjoying it actually. I think it's important and integral to bring back what was once done and for us to really look at it and understand that forgetting our history and forgetting our culture isn't something that we should do, but try to sustain it and maintain it, as well as giving exposure to the other younger ones growing up.
I think it's great because we have always been an agricultural nation overall, especially Tobago, and I think it's good to keep that within the Heritage Festival.
Yes, I think we should keep it going because, now that we're importing stuff, and if we could make it right here, we could grow them right here, it's really good, and it keep the cost down.
It gives the younger generation an appreciation for the heritage, because there are many of our youths don't really know what yesteryears look like. So these activities today will broaden the horizon and expose them to our heritage.
Well, food is life, and we don't focus on the agricultural aspect of it, we as a people will no longer be able to sustain ourselves, to relish the nutrition that comes from these natural food. We have to return to our roots, and we might as well start with the yam.
Patrons also enjoyed the finals of 3 heritage competitions, where young people showcased their dance and oral talents, as well as artistic creativity. Crystal Sargent took home first prize in the Talk Your Talk, Come Show Me Emotion competition. The Little Miss Heritage title went to Quave Benjamin, while Ziva Williams captured the Junior Miss Heritage trophy. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
We've got to take a break, but we have more stories for you right after this break.
There is no better investment of time and money than in the life of a child. They are the future. Alma Powell. These words sum up nicely how important a tournament like this is. One designed to not only expose upcoming golfers, but to create an opportunity for tourism.
On behalf of the Council and members of the Caribbean Golf Association, I am pleased to welcome you to the 66th Caribbean Amateur Golf Championships. The CGA views the continuation of these championships and our other events with a great sense of pride and responsibility. We consider the development of our players not only as athletes, but as model citizens and present and future community leaders.
The Caribbean Amateur Golf Classic is more than a premier golfing tournament. It is also a dynamic unifier of Caribbean peoples. This year's staging of the Caribbean Golf Classic will further affirm Trinidad and Tobago's appeal as an attractive destination for sport tourism.
I've been playing golf a year and a half now, and I like the game a lot. I like about golf how you get to travel the world and stuff like that.
This is the second time the Amateur Caribbean Golf Classic is being held in Tobago. I'm Megan Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Pembroke is known as the cultural capital of Tobago, and this year's Salaka Feast was a treat. It started with the morning rituals at 6:30 and ended with the stage production in the evening. It was a cultural celebration that paid tribute to All Awi and All Ahu Awi Be. Have a look.
I check in for you, you check in for me.
That is how life in Tobago used to be.
Everybody checking for everybody.
That is how life in Tobago used to be.
So now we want you to have a look at episode 2 of the Know Your Market Vendor series, a series hosted by the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development. In this episode, you'll meet market vendor Kevin Polson.
The business name is Polson Vegetables and Fruits. We open 7 days a week, from 7 in the morning to 5 in the evening. I have been in the market 20 to 25 years. I sell the items wholesale and retail, vegetables, fruits, provision, green seasoning, different things to the people. I believe they should come to the market and see what we have for them, because we have deals and offer for every single body. And everybody's supposed to be happy long as they come at Polson, because I try my best to make all
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers. It's Friday, the 18th of August, 2023, and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Adana Combi, and it is indeed a good day to be in the land of the living. So for that, we give thanks and praise. And yes, it is Friday. We're heading into the weekend. How are things looking, Julian?
Yes, well, Adana, I'm seeing Great Race. I'm seeing Castara. There's a lot happening.
That's right.
And in fact, for some cameramen, directors, and the team, the thing might get started from as early as tonight.
I feel so.
In the mix. How have you been?
I have been good. As I said, I'm alive and I'm well. There's health and strength. So, of course, there's a lot to be thankful for. Been a little bit busy, but you know,
well,
being busy is good,
yes,
isn't it?
Certainly. That's a good indication. Viewers, at this point, we head straight on over to news in 90 seconds.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Thank you, Julian and Adana. I am Candace Jackson, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Friday, 18th August 2023. Secretary of Education, Research and Technology, Zorisha Hackett, was charged with defying a court order to reveal details to the police related to the AudioGate investigation. She was represented by attorney Kristen Moore in court. Official court documents stated that she failed to present herself to the Scarborough Police Station on August 13th for fingerprinting without reasonable excuse. However, based on the arguments put forward by her attorney, the case was temporarily halted for civil court consideration. Meanwhile, acting Deputy Commissioner of Police, Intelligence and Investigation, Kurt Simon, has refuted the accusations of police collaboration in the inquiry concerning the audio recording that involves members of the THA. Simon, speaking at a press conference yesterday, said that the police conducted the investigations in a professional, ethical, and lawful manner. He also reiterated that no one instigated the TTPS to open an investigation, nor were they conspiring with the government or any other public entity to remove anyone from office. And finally, the Secretary of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, Dr. Faith B. Israel, has denied terminating a contract worker in the division. Political leader of the Tobago Council of the PNM, Answer Dennis, has accused B. Israel of improperly ending the worker's contract. In response, B. Israel stated that all contract employment regulations within the THA, which were established when the current administration took office in December 2021, have been maintained. And that concludes your news in 90 seconds.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Tobago, after freeness is more speed and better TV. Get a free Samsung smartphone and free installation, plus 200 megabits per second, Paramount Plus, and more for only $299 with a select 200 plan from Flow. Visit online at discoverflow.co today.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back. Yes, we're just after the news there in 90 seconds. All right, and at this point, we're going into our birthday segment, and that's Birthdays Shout-Out, sponsored by KFC.
This is your birthday shout-outs on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
And celebrating a birthday today, we have Mr. Cyril Williams. A happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Cyril. If you know anything about Cyril, you know that he's going to have a happy birthday today.
All right, on screen we have Dr. Nicola Dalrymple, and some would know her very much in the entertainment industry. Nikki Rimple continuing to represent us there. We want to wish you a happy belated birthday. We trust that the celebrations were well enjoyed, and from what I can see, I know the celebrations continue. So God's continued blessings going out to you.
Birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
From the experts that created the Zinger sandwich comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
All right, and we're heading straight on into our rundown this morning. But I know who do we get started with in the mix this morning?
We start our conversation with Ricardo Philip, and he is a political leader, Class Action Reform Movement. He's talking about a new political party in Tobago. And we continue conversations with John Prokop, an environmental activist. His swim from Tobago to Trinidad to be continued. This is in awareness of environmental protection, I suppose. And then, of course, coming down in the interviews, we have Jonathan Tardio. He's the president of Trinidad and Tobago Powerboat Association. Of course, great races on this weekend, so we'll be talking a little bit about that. And we round the interviews with Wayne Cunningham, senior sports reporter for TTT, and we're talking about TTFA Tier 2. So that is who we have for you on the program today. We hope you stay with us as we continue conversations with our guest today.
All right, and with that, we're heading straight on into Tobago in Focus.
Good health starts with good nutrition. The Division of Education, Research and Technology understands this, knowing that the future of Tobago lies with the nutrition of our children. The school nutrition policy is being developed for this purpose.
We must understand that the child is a whole being. What the child consumes matters. We do have a lot of wastage with particular meals as well, so we want to bring everything in a streamlined and organized manner so that we are most cost effective in our school nutrition program.
The policy, which is being examined and developed by a multi-departmental team from the division, as well as food and nutrition stakeholders, will seek to reduce waste, provide cost-effective measures, as well as establishing quality standards for meals and the stakeholders who create them.
We're also going to be reviewing the cost, the pricing, criteria for children to access the meals, because that has sort of gotten out of control a little bit over the years, moved away from the original objectives, and also the criteria for selecting and for maintaining your services as a caterer, because you have to maintain a standard.
The committee has been given a 4-month deadline for the full rollout of this policy. Technical advisor at the Division of Education, Research and Technology, Natasha Second, said work is well underway and encouraged principals, teachers and parents to participate in the process when the need arises.
We want to have policies that are very clear, policies that are very pragmatic. They're not going to simply be academic documents that are stuck in a cupboard. We want persons who work throughout the system to be able to move towards an improvingly higher quality education product, because we can measure exactly where we're going. So we want it to be transparent, and we want to have high levels of accountability throughout our entire system.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. In this segment, we are chatting with Ricardo Philip, and Ricardo is the political leader of the Class Action Reform Movement. And this morning, we're speaking about a new political party in Tobago. Good morning to you, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me again. It's always a pleasure to be here.
All right. So we're diving into the discussion. We recently had the launch of the Tobago People's Party. And, we like to get perspectives here on the Tobago Updates, a morning show. Your thoughts in terms of the general sense of direction. Some people say, a new political party. Some say not necessarily new. It's a transition from a grouping that existed previously under the PDP, along with where there may be supporters that have followed. Your thoughts?
Well, I look for more new political philosophy, and I think when you hear new political party in Trinidad and Tobago, you really hear a manifestation of the same thing over and over. This new party is not far from the PDP original philosophy, which is not far from the PNM philosophy. All of them have learned politics from the PNM. And so there is no new philosophy. New political party meaning what? Is it a sense of betterment for the people of Trinidad and Tobago in this case? No, absolutely not. And so I am not, taken aback. I'm not moved by the new idea for a new political party with new colors and all that stuff. That means nothing in the whole scheme of the challenges that we face in Trinidad and Tobago. I think what we need and what the people of the whole new political party do is a new philosophy, a new concept, a new way forward. How do we treat with the challenge that we face as a people? How do we treat with the challenges that we face as a people in Tobago, and not such as a new political party? Because, you know, it's all, you know, well and good to form a political party. That's your right to do so. But when we look at in terms of the philosophy and the way forward, it's the same thing over and over. And I'm not sure where we're going with this.
Would you say that they are positioned to be able to make that change that you're suggesting on the basis that the Tobago People's Party and the individuals at the helm are currently in government within the Tobago House of Assembly? They form the current administration?
I think they misinterpret the mandate of the people. I think they miss it very far. Because, you know, you in office, and I have said this before and I'm going to say it again, this administration is delusional and dangerous to the development of the people of Tobago. Because one is expect and suspect that the people who supported you, who left the PNM, who discarded the PNM, was in one for a better position, one for betterment for themselves, economically and socially speaking. And when you get into power, what do? I mean, by now we should have a sense of direction where this island is going. But the direction in which these guys want to take this island is not the mandate of the people. It's not the mandate, certainly not the mandate of the people. So you in there now following your own philosophy, your own definition of where we're supposed to go. And in truth and in fact, the main issue, the one that the people entrusted on you, is not being cared for.
What would you say that main issue is?
Well, economic development and betterment, because Tobago has struggled over the years for economic betterment, opportunities and so on. And you have to now create these opportunities in Tobago so that businesses and young people and all the different sectors can prosper. And that is basically what we expect in Tobago. So when people left the PNM after 21 years of nothingness, you come into a new political party, a new administration with the hope that this would take us into that place. And you say, you're going to fix it. And that's your main mantra. Take us into that place of real development, real economic development and opportunities. Because in my understanding, my observation over the years, the people of Tobago are ambitious too and want betterment for themselves and their children. And we don't want to have to be, every little thing is an economic challenge for us here. Lack of opportunities and lack of sustainable opportunities and so on. What we want to see happen on the island is serious and profound economic development, so that the people of Tobago, in the midst of their ambitions and their desires and their hopes, can access these things. We're struggling too much in Tobago.
Some would say, politicians tend to give these nice glowing words. From where you sit, Ricardo, as political leader of the class action reform movement, what would be one of the actions that you would do differently had you been a part of the leading the current administration?
Well, I don't see myself in that kind of politics, because my party, let me tell you where I stand. The first thing you have to do is educate the populace. The people of Trinidad and Tobago, and in Tobago in this case, have to be educated in terms of what their roles are and what ought to be done as far as the development of Tobago is concerned. First and foremost, the notion that you're going to get into politics and you think you have the answers to the problem of Tobago, then that's a misstep at the get-go. So what I would have done is engage the people on the island, engage a sense of what the interests are, what's most on their minds, and then you take it from there. The idea that you can solve all the problems on your own is a fundamental flaw as far as political party and politics is concerned. So people want the general understanding is that you want economic development, yes. So how do you chart that course? What direction do you take? You need the people's support. You need the people understanding the definition of what that entails before you start making those kind of moves.
But what would you say for those who are responding to indicate that this is the mandate that the district meetings are meeting, where you are able to go out and you're able to hear from the people directly as one of the forms being used by this current administration to meet that same mandate that you identify? How do you respond to that?
We were seeing this before. I mean, these town meetings, I mean, political parties in the past, and the PNM have done it, to use these town meetings to sort of gauge, how people think about them, how people see them, and so on, and not necessarily, because if you're talking about economic development, you're talking about development of the people, that's not the platform for that. This is really a political meet, and you're trying to gauge what kind of support you have on the ground.
No, I was going based on the fact that you had indicated if it were you there, it would be consulting with the people. So I was making the reference to the method being currently used. Does that meet the satisfaction, or if not, detail further for us? You know, your ideal with connecting with the people.
This would have happened before the election. I don't understand the question, but this would have happened before the election when you in your campaign. You see, the pathway you take to governance is what going to determine how you're going to govern. The pathway that you take will determine how you govern. And the PDP did not do anything different from the PNM in terms of the promises. And we're going to fix this and vote for us and be better than them and so on. So it's not surprising that the level of failure that you will experience, that they will experience, is going to be what it is. So what I would have done in your campaign is, regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of your religious persuasion, regardless of your what other philosophy, your race and what have you, you need to have, especially in a small island like Tobago, you need to have everybody on board. That is what you want. You want to cross all those, break down those barriers and so on, and bring people together to determine the future of the economic development of Tobago. And even if you have won the election, based on the whole structure of the political system and political party structure, you still want to do that by crossing over and treating with those issues and bringing people together.
But is that ever a real practical approach? Politicians always speak of that. When you win and when you get in, you know, you put down your colors and you put down everything and you are here to govern for the island. But is it really practical to expect to connect with the views and perspectives of all, or there will be those fundamental ones that will just not follow your philosophy because they do not support you in leadership?
Well, party politics dictates how the thing go. And that's why I'm saying party politics is a dangerous, the way we do party politics in Trinidad and Tobago is very dangerous. And of course, the manifestation of it is divisive. The manifestation of it is selfish. The manifestation of it is to exclude and to eliminate and so on. So when you look at how our politics is structured, yes, that's how that works. But when you understand party politics is just the vehicle to get to the election and so on, then you are able to transcend from that and treat with the things that you're supposed to. But in our case, the party politics, I mean, people told the people will support wrongdoing based on party politics.
All right, and that comes back to the connection, and that's a whole other story by itself with the Westminster system and how things work. Before you go,
it's not so much about the Westminster system so much, but it's about our own integrity, building our own, having our own capacity. More importantly, I think the people themselves who have allowed this to happen to perpetuate over a period of time, not understanding their role and responsibility. Understand what I'm saying? The first thing I said is that any aspiring politician now have to engage in a process of educating the populace in terms of what your responsibilities are and how do you keep me in check. And that's a failing of our party. This really has little to do with the Westminster system, even though that is an issue that we have to treat with generally. But the integrity in terms of what do you do, especially when you meet people who are desperate and people who have suffered long, how do you treat with that?
All right. We want to get from you very quickly before we close this morning, future prospects for the class action reform movement, your political party.
Well, there's only one mission at a time, and I think this is the most fundamental mission, and that is to continue to treat with the truth and to bring that sense of balance and understanding that the extremities doesn't work. This country needs to see yourself. It's like you have a disease and trying to fix yourself, and you with all the experience and with all the expertise, you're trying to solve your own problem. And I'm saying here that we have to sit down and think, and the people have to engage in this. This is not a political party solution issue. Political party cannot solve the problem of Trinidad and Tobago. The people have to understand, first get involved in terms of understanding what their role and responsibilities are, and then treat accordingly. Political party can't fix it.
All right. Thank you very much there, Ricardo Phillips, political leader of the Class Action Reform Movement. Thank you so much for joining us here on set this morning. Viewers, we want to thank you for the continued love and support. It's Friday morning. It's Friday. A quick shout out in the mix. We see Julia Brown Travis on the live this morning. Cyril in the mix with us. Yolanda, Danielle, Terry Trinidad, Lucretia Williams, Liebert, Jack, Brian Jordan, Naomi Archie, Daniel Vincent, Tintin Jack, Maxine Lyons, good morning to each and every one of you continuing to connect with us here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We want to thank you so much for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates Morning Show, and to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Summerama, real steam for the summer at standard. Is a dream for the summer. Dreamy, steamy, standard. What you have? All the best deals, no drama. Standard be beat like a hammer. Go tell your friend, tell your papa, tell your mama. We got more. Standards have what is searching for. Quality brand, discounts galore. New things for the summer, online in store. Summertime is here, so make the most out of it at Standard. Never beaten on quality and price. Ignite.
Waiting for CXC results and wondering what's next? Or maybe you're looking to switch careers. Learn a skill to jumpstart your career at the NESC Technical Institute. Get qualified for jobs in the energy and industrial sectors, or even start your own business. Choose from automotive, electrical, instrumentation, drilling, welding, fabrication, AC refrigeration, IT networking, and more. NESC diplomas are gate approved. Classes begin in September. Visit nesc.edu.tt to apply.
Calling all ambitious young ladies of Tobago, the First Citizens Girls First Festival is back. Join us on August 20th at Shaw Park Cultural Complex for an empowering experience that'll prepare you to conquer the world. Hear extraordinary female speakers who shattered barriers, sharing their secrets to success, leaving you motivated and fearless. Together, we will support and uplift one another by participating in interactive workshops that build leadership skills and boosts confidence. Join us at the First Citizens Girls First Festival and let's embark on a life-changing journey together.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates. I am Adana Combi, and we're in studio this morning with Mr. John Prokop, and he is an environmental activist, and we're talking about his swim, his continued swim from Tobago to Trinidad to be continued. Good morning and welcome to our show this morning. How are you?
Good morning. I am very well, thanks.
Right. So we're talking about your swim. You know, your swim from Tobago to Trinidad to be continued. What does this mean? Give us a little recap of what has happened and why we're swimming from Tobago to Trinidad and stuff like that.
Well, I came on the program and talked about doing the swim. All the preparations went well, and we were very, very lucky to get a break in the weather window just one day after the swim was actually planned for. So we went out and tested the strength of the current and found that we had a period that was fairly gentle in comparison to the days that were to come. And so we took advantage of it. And I have to say that everything went really, really well. I'm really pleased with how the swim went. We didn't make it all the way to Trinidad, unfortunately, because we met the North Guyana equatorial current, and that stopped me in my tracks. However, we started off from Granby Point at about 3:30 in the morning, and everything went great for 23 miles. We even saw dolphins. So it was a really, really fun experience. And I had 3 support boats and 16 people supporting me out on the sea from the night into the day. And everyone had a great time, and we all got back safe and sound. So I consider it to be a success.
Right, but 3 a.m.
Yes.
in the waters, what was it like?
Ooh, it's a good thing that I had Ojani Walker with me, my very good friend. He's a free diver, among many other things. He's what you would call a marine specialist. And he was in the water with me every stroke of the way while it was dark. So I didn't have to worry about anything, and I could keep my mind focused on swimming properly, my swim technique. And I had a line with glow sticks attached to it so that I could see, exactly where I was going. But yeah.
Right,
really
so
good.
remind our viewers, for the viewers who didn't look at the first part of the interview, remind us what is the purpose and the intention behind this swim? What drove you to take on this swim?
Oh gosh, it's been a dream for a long time. I've been swimming for a while. So it first came about when I heard the legend of the slave who escaped his captors from a plantation in Tobago and made it across the channel to Trinidad. And that, of course, happened because slavery was abolished in Trinidad before it was abolished in Tobago. Other than that, I've been training for this swim for a long time, and I wanted to increase awareness of the devastating effects of climate change and pollution and overfishing on our oceans and our marine environment, which is so important to a small island state like Trinidad and Tobago in particular. And I also wanted to highlight the need for the corporations and the government of Trinidad and Tobago to support Learn to Swim programs nationwide, as well as supporting our athletes when they are representing our country in sporting endeavors such as the swim and triathlons, etc.
Right, there are 2 things you mentioned that I want to talk a little bit more about. You said the importance of overfishing.
Yes.
Right? Tell us a little bit more about that, because some people will argue that, well, fishing is a means of providing food for us and also income, but you're saying that there must be some type of balance, is what you're saying?
Absolutely. I operate a sustainable seafood business, and I am also involved in the Tobago Lionfish Eradication Project. So fishing that we do in Tobago is not what you would call overfishing. Overfishing is industrial fishing. Those very large long liner boats that come and fish in our waters, those are the vessels that we're sort of referring to when we're talking about overfishing. The subsistence fishing that takes place from small fisher folk from Tobago is not what we would consider overfishing.
So are we running a steady ship in terms of our fishing here?
We are, although we do need to tighten up our standards and procedures. We have all of the rules and regulations, and they're not necessarily adhered to and followed. But there's a lot of room for improvement, and I think that the marine industry, the fishing industry, needs to be rehabilitated so that we will have fish for generations to come. And the reason that I'm involved in lionfish eradication is because these are an invasive alien species. And so I encourage everybody to go out and eat as much lionfish as possible.
Right. Also, you mentioned about pollution, right? That is something that we really need to pay a lot of attention to, because I know it has been an issue for a very long time and it continues to be an issue. But I've seen where there have been initiatives where there's some cleanup, where sensitization is done. So, of course, we need to continue with the sensitization of pollution.
Yes. And, of course, recycling is very important. And I have to say that I'm very glad to see that we are doing recycling initiatives in Tobago.
That's right.
This is very important because there's so much plastic in the ocean, and eventually we get the plastic back in the fish that we eat. So it's a cycle, and we really need to be aware of how connected we all are you know.
Right. Yes, and also I want to talk about, you said that the government needs to provide more training, and that people need to be as simple as I am. I don't think I'm a professional swimmer. I don't even think I'm a basic standard swimmer. So that is also a good investment to make for people, especially people who are living on an island that is surrounded by water.
Absolutely. I mean, your ability to swim saves lives, and also allows you to enjoy the marine environment and make the connection that you need to make in order to appreciate it and to protect it and conserve it for generations to come.
And also to embark on initiatives like you did, because if you don't have the skills to go swimming, there's no way you would attempt that type of feat, and I'm really happy to hear that you attempted it and that you were inspired in the way that you were inspired to take on this swim and that you had all the support. So tell us a little bit more about the actual support system that you had, because you did mention one of your friends being there who's a diver. And of course, I'm sure that your support network would have been a little bit bigger as well to provide all the necessary, support you need to make that trek from Trinidad to as far as you could, considering all things in terms of the current and stuff like that.
Well, the success of the swim was depending completely on my support team, who came together like a family. 16 people were out there with me through the night and into the day. And
there you are.
There I am, yeah. And, there were 3 boats. And one of the boats is called Survival. And they're from Barbados Bay, at Studley Park. We began at Granby Point, so we began on their home grounds. Another boat was Predator, and another boat was On the Mark. And, it took a massive effort, and I'm so grateful to all of the people who stayed with me, supported me for those hours that we were out there on the ocean. And I tell you, I could not have done it without them. And this is really a credit to that team of people who pulled together with one objective to make sure that they had my back. All I had to do, I had the easy part. I just had to go left stroke, right stroke, and just keep swimming and never give up.
Right, and 23 miles you swam for.
Yes, 23 miles. It was a huge swim, and I felt very good when I completed it. And I think that...
And this is you here training. So guys, we want to reiterate that John is a professional swimmer. He's been swimming off camera. He told me he started diving at the age of 11. So he is seasoned, right?
I have to say, I'm a professional scuba diver,
there we go.
But I am a competitive swimmer.
So
I'm very proud to say that I represent the Tobago Aqua Warriors swim team, who are based at the YMCA pool in Black Rock, Tobago.
Right.
And it is in very large part due to the tutelage and the caring of coaches Rochelle Pear and Mosey Danoon that I have been able to pull off a swim like this.
Right.
And I have to also thank all of our dedicated sponsors, of course. And without them, this also would not be possible.
Right. This is really exciting stuff. And I want to reiterate that a lot of training, a lot of thought and strategy and planning went into this. So this is not something you just jump into the water and decide, okay, I'm going to swim from Tobago to Trinidad or Trinidad to Tobago. There's planning. You have to look at the weather conditions. You have to study the currents and all these things had to be put into place. And this is why you had to have this team, right?
Absolutely.
To work together with you to ensure the safest possible environment for this to take place.
Absolutely.
Right. And, I too want to say thank you for the sponsors for us to have this experience with you.
Yes.
It's not just your thing. We're happy that we were part of this, that we could see the footage and the distance that you covered there. And I'm really happy to hear about your story and what has inspired you and the community that you've built around yourself to ensure this swim would happen. John, thank you so much for being on the program with us this morning and sharing your experience. And we thank you so much to your sponsors and your partners and the persons who teamed up with you to make this happen.
Yeah.
And we wish you all the best in the future on your future endeavors.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure being on board the show. And I had a wonderful time in the interview. So great.
Happy to hear it.
I'm looking forward to many other swims in the future. I'm not exactly sure what will be next, but I'll keep you guys informed. when
Thank you.
I
We look
cook it up.
forward to it. We look forward to it. Guys, we've been speaking to John Prokop. And of course, we're going to take a break before we continue with our program today. I am Adana Kambi, and I'm asking you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be back.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
Inner Health, number 13B Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, with over 25 years experience offering services in and not limited to microscopic blood analysis, reflexology, and the sale of a wide range of organic herbal products used to supplement thyroid, lymphatic, heart, kidney, and brain health, and the male and female reproductive systems. Come and chat with us. Remember, your health is your wealth.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Yes, of course. It's Friday in Trinidad and Tobago. And you know what time it is? It is sports time. And of course, I want to thank Dana and Julian for holding it down for the first half an hour. But we are up with sports. Yes, sports happening right here in Tobago and of course Trinidad and Tobago. We have two interviews for you guys this morning. We're going to start off with some TTFA football, and we have on the line with us Mr. Wayne Cunningham out of TTT. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to all, especially my friends and family in Tobago.
Yes, man. Thank you so much for joining the studios of Tobago Updates Television. Of course, I know you are familiar with television spaces. Wayne, we're talking about TTFA football this morning. Fairly need to have the conversation. We were really trying to get someone from the TTFA to talk to us about the Tier 2. Of course, we have two Tobago teams participating there, one of which are currently on top of the table, unbeaten in the season. Can't speak too much for the other team out of Bethel. And I was actually questioning the format, not me alone, but people in Tobago were questioning the format of the Tier 2. But before we get into that format, I mean, you have covered the league as a sport anchor at the TTT. I mean, your thoughts on the league thus far?
Well, on the league thus far, first begin, once again, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And I must say a little disclaimer here. I no longer with the TTFA,
Right.
know, just working on my experience here right now.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we are TTT. We have a show called First Team, which covered the league extensively. Tier 1, we covered part of Tier 2 before the season ended. We're going to start back the season sometime in September. But my thoughts on the league, it's refreshing to see top flight football back. The organization of Tier 1 was, I think, very good for coming out of the pandemic and no football for over 2 years. You know, it was good action and so forth. Tier 2, on the other hand, I think I'm watching now, and I think they're a little bit neglected, after the explosion of Tier 1, right? But still seeing good football in Tier 2. So, all in all, I welcome back top flight football, and it has been good. They got 8 out of 10.
Any particular player caught your eyes? I mean, I have been watching mostly of course Phoenix 6 games because I'm from out of Kinam Bonaccord. I mean, some will say I'm from Castara. Born and grew up in Castara, but I lived in Kinam Bonaccord for some years. So I kind of adopted Phoenix as me team in Tobago here now, and nationally as well.
All right. Well, we have something in common because full disclosure here, you know, me and Terry Williams go way back.
That's talking about.
Way back, you know. So
they have a young man.
They have a young man. They
have a young man coaching them. Yeah, they have a young man, Nigel D'Souza. Yeah. And you mentioned Leandro, Shelton Williams. That's Terry's. I think his eldest son. He's also a part of the coaching team there. So they're now giving back to the community, of which I mean they were very grateful to represent over the years with 1976 FC Phoenix. They now go by FC Phoenix. I'm not too sure why they got rid of the year, but they have been playing really good football. Hence they are unbeaten in their 10 matches in the first round. And I mean Michael Jem Gordon, of course, some pro league experience with Police. He came back playing with Phoenix, and he's now the league's top scorer. So he really have caught my eyes. I'm hoping that he caught the eyes of the national selectors as well. So no particular player caught your eyes?
Well, as I say, you know, I was gonna say Jem Gordon, you know, because he playing very well up there with Phoenix, you know, and I think watching his motions, I think Leandro still has something to give.
Right.
You know, how to put it? I don't think he given us 100, but what he given us is so classy, right? That if he put out a bit more, we'll see the real player.
Yeah, and that's Leandro for you, you know. It's like he looks lazy on the field, but he's very effective, very experienced as well. And it's good to see that he's gelling with the youngsters. And I'm told that within this team, the average age there is like 22, 23. So they have a very young team. And obviously, I mean, I'm really happy to see that the community itself supporting them. But let's come to the important topic here this morning, because I have watched football all over the world. I mean, I like the English Premier League. Big up to Manchester United, and of course I used to support Jablite in Trinidad. And I know you have a league and then you have a knockout. You want to say something there? You sound like a Chelsea fan, you know.
Well, you want Jablite, so it's war one time because I'm Caledonia.
A Caledonia man.
Yeah, you know, so like we neighbors, so it's war one time.
Yes,
so
yes, indeed.
I think I'm going to stop the interview.
So the format is the top 6 teams from the league. They are going to play in this knockout thing. Let's explain for me.
All right. Let me go from the top. I don't think this playoff system would have happened unless the teams agree.
Right.
Right? Now, you have to remember, we're coming out of this 2.5-year hiatus from football. We have to get back in line with the region, to say, right? That is why in Tier 1, they had a cutoff point for the league, right? And even though you had more games to go, the top 3 teams qualified for Champions League football, for regional football, right? Because we are a little time constraint. I figure the same thing happened with regards to Tier 2, because the league had a setback just now, right? And we have to get Tier 2 started as well if we're going to do promotion and relegation, right? So they had to finish the Tier 2 in a certain time frame. So what they did, basically, I was not a meeting. I didn't partake, but I saw it done already.
Yeah.
What they did is that they probably told the teams after X time, which is August 23rd, actually, after August 23rd, whoever in these 6 positions will qualify for the playoff.
Right.
Right. If you saw yesterday, it had a makeup game between PT Valley, Digomartin United, and Matura. Right, that's the makeup ground before the 23rd, which is,
and that's next Wednesday.
Just next week.
Yeah.
Right. So what they did, they're going to take those 6 teams and put them in the playoff, right, to decide the championship, which some people find unfair, because
I find that unfair.
Phoenix could come now after being unbeaten
Exactly.
all season.
And have a bad
Because
day.
If you watch the brackets for
Yeah.
tier 1, I don't know if you have. Let me
There,
bring it
yes.
up.
Good. I hope
Bring it
my
up a little
guy
bit
can
here.
zoom in there. Right.
Right. Good.
Right.
If you watch Phoenix over here first,
You will
and
have
they're
a
going up to
bye.
3rd and 6th.
Yeah.
Right? 3rd and 6th right now
It's
is
Harlem.
the
That's
clash.
Harlem. Go ahead.
3rd and 6th right now is the clash of the services. It will be police versus defense force. Defense force known as a slow starter. Defense force started slow in tier 1 and then come and win everything. They just take a little while to build up, and when they start, they don't stop.
Yes, and yes.
So police and all started slow in tier 1.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's the 2 most dangerous teams it will have to play for Terry and his team.
And that is, you see what you just said there? That's my concern. Because league football and knockout football, 2 different things.
Yeah.
When you go to knockout, it have no, if I
No
lose, you have to come back tomorrow, you know. It's go home. And you're leaving everything out there on the field. And if I know that I have a game in hand, I can still qualify for the top 6. I ain't playing all my big players in that game day. I rested my players for the knockout game. You know, so I really think it was, and not because Phoenix on the top, you know. I think it was unfair to the teams in the league. And if they agreed on this before, man, no. Them managers, they were licks. Them managers were relics.
You know why? You know why I believe it was agreed to before? Because I'm not hearing any grumbling.
Mm-hmm.
In football, you say grumbling early, right? And when it was announced that the playoff coming, I believe the league would have sat down with the managers and the coaches and tell them, look, this is the case. This is what we're going to do. And everybody, more or less, I want to be speculate that agreed, because, and I don't think it started last week. I believe they probably agreed to this in the earlies, like the tier 1, because tier 1 and all, for you to be in 4th and still have 2 games to go and could catch 3rd place.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? That in tier 1, that was the argument. But they agreed to it early on. So when the cutoff point came for tier 1 and Port of Spain Defense Force and Club Sando qualified for regional competition, no grumbling. Everybody take it because they agree. And I figure the same thing going on in tier 2.
Yeah, and before we wrap, and so just to be clear, obviously Phoenix will have finished in first position, so they'll have a bye, a full strong bye, and then they'll play the winner between, of course, the servicemen there, who are in that's what, 3rd and 4th, 3rd and 6th, right? Yeah. And then the other team in 2nd place, which is Queen's Park Cricket Club, they'll play the winner between 4th and 5th.
4th and 5th, and right now that is Harlem Strikers and San Fernando Giants.
Those are 2 big matches. So let me ask you a question now. So you think that, let's say Phoenix, they win the semi-final game. Obviously that game might be played in Tobago, but I am challenging the authorities here. If it is that Phoenix gets past whoever it is, whether it's police or defense force, we won the finals in Tobago. We have a right to York Stadium. Your thoughts on that?
No, well, obviously, but Phoenix only right to host the finals.
Yeah.
The only right to host the semi-final as well.
Yeah.
Right? As a matter of fact, you know, if the authorities thinking a little bit, they have from the semi-final and the final and the 3rd place playoff, they play it in the right here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate that.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, Wayne, I ran out of time this morning. I mean, always short talking to you, right? But we're going to have you back celebrating the trophy. I'm going to have Willie Andrew right here and Nigel here with the trophy celebrating. And I'm going to have you here celebrating with us.
All right. Okay.
I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah. We have to do something about Bethel, though.
We're going to talk about Bethel next time.
All right. Good.
Have a good day, sir.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
Yes. Of course, we've been chatting there with Mr. Wayne Cunningham talking about TTFA football, where we are very proud of Phoenix, and hopefully all will go well for them in their semi-final game. But don't go anywhere. Remember to share the live. Share the live. We're going to be chatting great ways after the break.
Right now, Tobagonians are just currying down to Bon Accord right in Stowbay Local Road. You know why? To come down and shop at Authentic Builders General Hardware, the only hardware store in Tobago that is giving you guys Trinidad prices. So for instance, such as steel, 1/2 and 5/8, $7,895. 5/8 construction ply for $260. Every single thing that you will need to do your home renovation or start your new construction, we have it right here. And to get your quotation, it's very easy. Just WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will do your free WhatsApp quotation for you.
Are you flood ready? Review and update insurance coverage. Install floodgates and barriers. Create a family flood plan. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, and of course, let me thank you for sharing the live. We are here on Tobago Updates Television. It's a sporting morning here in Tobago on Tobago Updates Television. Of course, thank you so much for staying tuned. Of course, before we get into the interview with the Great Race, folks from Great Race, I want to encourage persons to jump out, support the Tobago Player Development Open Tryouts. Of course, you saw them earlier this year where they had teams traveling regionally. They also have international tours, international tournaments, regional tournaments, college showcase, professional trials. Right? All the information is there. August 28th, Signal Hill Field, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Open to boys 10 to 20. Yeah, for more information, you can WhatsApp Lex at 302-4135, or you can send an email to the email address on the flyer. Of course, we're going to share it on our platforms as well. And thank you so much for supporting the Tobago Player Development Program. Very important to our development here in Tobago where football is concerned. All right, so we have had the Commonwealth Youth Games. Of course, we have the sports camp happening right now. Last weekend, we had the Tobago Hill Climb. And guess what? We're having Great Race tomorrow. It's a beehive of activities right here in Tobago, and we are all for it. We are all for it. In the studio with me, I have Mr. Stephen Lewis, right?
Yes.
Stephen Lewis. And online, I have Mr. Jonathan Tadier.
Tadier,
I
correct.
got it right. I like all the uniform this morning. Very patriotic. You could have told me you have an next one outside there.
Yeah.
Yes. Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. Yeah, yes. So good morning, Mr. Tadier. You hearing me loud and clear, right?
Good morning, I do. Yeah, hearing you loud and clear.
Fantastic. Great Race 2023. All set for Great Race 2023?
So far, everything seems to be going according to plan, so fingers crossed. The only thing we're looking out for would be the weather, but from a logistical standpoint, everything looks good, man.
Yeah. Stephen, and your position on the association?
Well, I am you can say that I am a new member towards the executive committee, and I'm liaising very closely with the treasurer. So
okay. So you're like to be a representative?
Well, I am the first person of the association to be here for Tobago. So I am definitely excited to come and showcase us as the TTBBA to be the face.
Fantastic. Yeah. Congratulations there. Mr. Tadier, over the years, right, what I've become accustomed to with Great Race, especially like today, the boats will normally like parade the streets of Scarborough just to build a hype. I mean, that plan again this year?
No. All right. So for the parade that used to happen in Scarborough, I believe that was a separate That was a Tobago regatta that we used to have in Easter. For great race, usually the parade of the boats happens in Trinidad, and that goes through. I think this was one of the first years we actually started back the parade since COVID.
Oh, so okay. So the parade is going to be happening in Trinidad. I guess sometime today.
Yeah.
While the boats
Oh, well,
make the.
that actually happened. That was the 5th of August. So that happened about 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago. In terms of the boats participating this year, care to share that information?
Sure. We have about 30 boats taking part this year. As everybody would usually ask, we have only 2 big boats racing this year. That'll be Mr. Solo and Ironman. The majority of the boats make up the smaller classes from the 60 mile, 70 and 80 mile boats and the spec class.
Oh, okay. So Mr. Solo is making a return. What's the record like for Mr. Solo? Because since I've known myself following Great Race, Mr. Solo been the boat to beat or the boat that's been winning Great Race.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I can't tell you, but I think he's somewhere he's won it at least probably 18 times. I want to say.
Right, yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but yeah, he's been consistent through it all. In recent years, he's been given some healthy competition from Monster. Yeah, but Monster decided they were going to sit this year out, and I think they're planning to return next year. But this year looks like it's a battle between Ironman and Mr. Solo.
And Mr. Solo this is what the A-class category.
Yeah, well, Mr. Solo is the A-class, and Ironman would be the B-class.
Oh,
but
okay.
of course, they more or less kind of match for speed.
Yeah, you have raced before?
I have not.
Right.
Yeah, but very soon.
Very soon.
Very soon.
and your thoughts on the Great Race? I mean, it happens once a year, every year, and people look forward to it. Not only for the battle on the seas, but in Canaan Monaco. I mean, over the years in Store Bay, after the boats are in, big party and thing. I mean, your thoughts on the whole idea of Great Race?
Oh, well, Great Race, I would say definitely. I think we need to push it a little more. Just like how we have the greatest show on earth, which is Carnival.
I like that.
We have the Great Race, which is the greatest race on it that would represent to the entire Caribbean, not just Trinidad and Tobago, but the entire Caribbean, right? And I would say definitely that Great Race, it brings a lot of the communities together. Not only Tobago. It brings Trinidad, it brings the Caribbean of the islands, it brings Tobago, it brings everyone together when it comes to not only the partying, but actually getting to know what the sport is about.
Right.
Yeah, and it is definitely a huge sport, right? And with the racing and everything, it is exciting.
Yeah, and do you believe that we should have it more than once for the year?
Well, we're going to be under stress. If it's more than once for the year, but definitely, I would love to have the racing as much as we can. Yeah, but in order to keep the hype of the event, Great Race deserves a once a year.
But what's difficult in putting together a race? I mean, it may sound simple to others, but tell us about the behind the scenes activities that you guys have to put in place to ensure the success of the Great Race.
Well, great. So behind the scenes is that we have our executive committee, and they work tirelessly throughout the year, to be honest, throughout the year to actually get the racers, the boats.
Because some of them compete elsewhere throughout the year.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. And even apart from having the boats and the racers and so on, being able to put on the show is a lot when it comes to having sponsorship.
Right.
Yeah, and well, this year we have Carib
again.
Correct. Carib is one of our biggest sponsors. Yeah. And exactly, they have the name as Carib Great Race. And apart from just having the racers and so on, the sponsorship carries us a very long way when it comes to putting on each show. And I know that it is not just Great Race we have, right? It's not just the Trinidad race into Tobago. We also have the preliminary events called regatta.
Right.
We have up to 5 regattas before the Great Race. So it's more or less like the qualifications before each team enter into the race.
to
so you have to
build their points.
You have to get points from the regattas.
Yeah, well,
in order to qualify for the Great Race.
Really, yeah, more or less, yeah.
Right, and you would have had the regattas this year.
Yes, definitely.
But not in Tobago. I didn't.
And unfortunately, no, we did not have any in Tobago, but we can definitely look into having some regattas in Tobago.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah. And to get back to Mr. Tadi earlier, you mentioned that you only have 2 boats in the 2 big boats this year, and you have an influx of the smaller boats. Is it that the bigger boats are probably feeling the heat in terms of putting out a boat out there? Because I'm sure it's very difficult to maintain one of these vessels.
Correct. So I think a lot of the issues with the big boats not being able to make it out is a lot more financial than anything else. Because even for us putting on an event, Great Race, even as Stefan mentioned, the regattas throughout the year, some of the issues we've been having is sponsorship, right?
Yeah.
We were very lucky this year with Great Race in that coming close up to the date, we were struggling to get funding for it. Luckily, as Stefan mentioned, we had Carib come on board. We also had a lot of support from THA and the Tobago Tourism Agency.
Yeah, nice.
We had a lot of people also within the fraternity that really helped push this thing coming on board. So just that alone is a reflection that, to maintain one of those big boats and to have it when out there and racing 5 times for the year and then Great Race. Great Race is the big boy, but that is always a difficult task for that to happen.
Yeah. And what about Tobago boats? We have Tobago boats participating here as well.
All right. So for the 5 regattas, which is our national championship, we actually have a class called the 50 mile an hour, right? Which we have a lot of is made up mainly of Tobago boats, which you all refer to them as the Zessa boats. And we enjoy those guys. They come down here for our regattas, and it's our vibes with those.
Sure.
I have a brother from Castara, Curlin Ferguson. I mean, I often see, when he shares his pictures and videos with him racing. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that name, Curlin Ferguson out of Castara. The guys from Castara. They love that boat racing stuff.
Yeah. I was actually up in Castara the end of last year because there's the Plymouth Regatta that they had. I actually brought across my boat there, and like I said, it's a real enjoyable race.
Yes, because and then next weekend is going to be Castara's Fisherman. Fisherman Fete in Tobago, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Sunday. Yeah, sometime around this time here, because what we normally do, we gauge when there's Great Race, and then I know after that we're going to be Castara, and then it's a spectacle because they normally race as well with the Zessa boats. With the Zessa boats, right?
The only thing is with the Zessa boats, they're a little too small to race the Great Race. So that's the only problem with them. They don't meet the length requirement. Cause I think majority of these Zessa boats might be around 14, 15 feet around there.
Right.
The Great Race requirement is you have to be 20 feet, obviously for safety reasons, right? But what happens is that a lot of the boys come down and race some of the bigger boats that are available. And we have a proper Tobago representative and competitor in Mr. Ajmal.
Yes, man.
Blue Eyes. I'm sure you're familiar with that boat.
Yeah. And then I saw him last week racing cars as well too in the Tobago Hill Climb. So he likes speed. Let's put it that way. He likes speed. And as we wrap, in terms of the where you're gonna start and time you're starting.
Okay, so great. So we are starting in Trinidad on the foreshore. We asked everyone all the boats to be there by 6, and the race is going to start promptly at 7:15.
Right, that's what the smaller boats going on first.
Everyone.
One time?
Everyone is going to start at 7:15, and they're going to make their way all the way to Tobago. I think they're going to come around onto Maracas there by Grand Verde, and then they're going to head straight into Tobago.
Yeah, fantastic. And how long it should take the first boat to arrive in Tobago?
Well, once you run it straight over there, then you're gonna more or less reach by 8-9 o'clock.
8-9 o'clock.
Latest.
Yeah. I know folks will want to take the kids down there just to see the boats. I mean, it's a spectacle. Let's hear the engines roar and all these different things. I mean, the 55th Great Race, NLCB, Carib, Vibe City 105. I normally look forward to hearing the coverage as well. You have the helicopters there as well. Right. to Mr. Lewis and Mr. Tadier, I want to thank you guys so much for being here with us this morning. I want to wish all the participants a safe passage to Tobago. I'm really hoping for good weather as well. Right? We have had some good years with Great Waste. I too will be at Storby. Hoping to see the boats, but hoping to do other things as well. Right? Yes, and good luck to all the Tobago boats going out there and participate. I mean, it's an adrenaline rush. I'm not one that I will participate in, but I can imagine the hype and the excitement for the guys that are participating. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for
all the
us,
best.
man.
All right, what are we going to do? We're going to take a break and we'll return with the Good Morning Tobago with Candace. Yeah. Guys, remember to share the live, right? Share the live, share the live. It has been an amazing morning here on Tobago Updates Television talking sports. I wish you guys a wonderful weekend. Go out there and support the Great Waste, yes? And be safe.
This is Speyside. All are we and who all are we be. This is being Tobagonian. You know, this is what it's about. Sharing and having a society that cares for each other and we just give. You know, even the strangers within our gates we give. So Tobago just keep being beautiful.
Nestled in the beautiful east side lies the village of Speyside. And for the first time, they incorporated their harvest into the Tobago Heritage Festival. And well, basically, it was all about giving thanks, then on to the eats and drinks.
The Speyside Harvest Festival is actually the only harvest festival that always occurred during the heritage period. And so we just decided this year, since it naturally occurs during the same period, that we should add it to the calendar. And it's really a celebration of Thanksgiving. It's an opportunity for the church and the community to come together and to give God thanks for all of the year's blessings. And so between last year, July, and now, God has been good to us.
It's a unique opportunity, it's something unique. I mean, I had experiences with friends from Trinidad and they find this harvest phenomenon out of this world, because I could give you a little story. The first time I brought a friend to harvest, he forgot his wallet in his car. He was like, hey, I forgot my wallet. So I was like, the car is locked, what's the problem? He's like, so how are we going to pay for the food? And then you can imagine the laughter afterwards. So, you know, it's a blessing, it's a privilege, and it's just part of our culture and we need to enjoy it.
It's quite lively, food, entertainment, and also the people, just unity.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region, with the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine. I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Secretary of Education, Research and Technology, Zorisha Hackett, was charged with defying a court order to reveal details to the police related to the AudioGate investigation. She was represented by her attorney, Kristen Moore, in court. Official court documents stated she failed to present herself at the Scarborough police station on August 13th for fingerprinting without reasonable excuse. However, based on the arguments put forward by her attorney, the case was temporarily halted for civil court consideration. Meanwhile, Acting Deputy Commissioner of Police Intelligence and Investigation, Kurt Simon, has refuted the accusations of police collaboration in the inquiry concerning the audio recording that involves members of the THA. Simon, speaking at a press conference yesterday, said the police conducted the investigations in a professional, ethical, and lawful manner. He also reiterated that no one instigated the TTPS to open an investigation, nor were they conspiring with the government or any other political entity to remove anyone from office. And finally, the Secretary of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, Dr. Faith B. Israel, has denied terminating a contract worker in the division. Political leader of the Tobago Council of the PNM, Ansel Dennis, has accused B. Israel of improperly ending a worker's contract. In response, B. Israel stated that all contract employment regulations within the THA, which were established when the current administration took office in December 2021, have been maintained. And that was the news in 90 seconds.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Tobago, after freeness is more speed and better TV. Get a free Samsung smartphone and free installation, plus 200 megabits per second, Paramount Plus, and more for only $299 with a select 200 plan from Flow. Visit online at discoverflow.co today.
From the experts that created the Zinger sandwich comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
Summerama, real steam for the summer at standard. Is a dream for the summer. Dreamy, steamy, standard. What you have, what you have? All the best deals, no drama. Standard be beat like a hammer. Go tell your friend, tell your papa, tell your mama. We got more, we got more. Standards are what you're searching for. Quality brand, discounts galore. New things for the summer, online in store. Summertime is here, so make the most out of it at Standard. Never beaten on quality and price. Ignite.
Calling all ambitious young ladies of Tobago, the First Citizens Girls First Festival is back. Join us on August 20th at Shaw Park Cultural Complex for an empowering experience that'll prepare you to conquer the world. Hear extraordinary female speakers who shattered barriers, sharing their secrets to success, leaving you motivated and fearless. Together, we will support and uplift one another by participating in interactive workshops that build leadership skills and boosts confidence. Join us at the First Citizens Girls First Festival and let's embark on a life-changing journey together.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, there's so much been happening this week. Tobago has been heating up, and we are being joined this morning by Mr. Barrington Skippy Thomas, who had that very, very groundbreaking, I guess, interview a couple days ago with the whistleblower involved or at the heart of this whole AudioGate scandal. So good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Thomas. How are you doing? Okay, well, we are going to get him back in just a second. But yes, there's quite a lot happening. We saw yesterday, we got information, I should say yesterday, that charges were laid against the Secretary of Education, Research and Technology, Ms. Zorisha Hackett. But however, there's going to be a stay on that pending civil proceedings because the lawyers in the case were able to sort of get a stay on that charge. So they're not going to go ahead with that charge quite as yet. But I think we have Mr. Skippy on. Good morning, Mr. Thomas. Good morning. Can you hear me? All right, I think we're still having a little bit of a connection issue. But yes, while we sort that out, yeah, we're getting those reports. So apparently, according to the two court documents, I should say, Ms. Zorisha Hackett did not present herself for fingerprinting at the Scarborough Police Station as requested, and her lawyers are actually fighting that charge against her. And actually, the court is allowing that. So the court is going to hear the lawyers, the attorney's side first, hear that case first before they move forward on a charge against Ms. Zorisha Hackett. So quite interesting times coming out. And I mean, we're continuing to follow this situation. Now, the question is, now that Mr. Ansel Dennis, the political leader of the PNM, did admit to colluding with Mr. Akil Abdullah, the whistleblower, and after the screenshots and all that information was laid out there in the public, he did say yes, he was involved with Mr. Abdullah, and he said that Mr. Abdullah was his informant, and as a result, he tried to keep his identity or try to protect his informant by not revealing to the public, even when he was questioned by the media as to whether or not he had any dealings with Mr. Abdullah. Mr. Dennis first denied it. And then he came forward a couple nights ago and said, yes, he actually was in talks for a long time with Mr. Abdullah. However, he has not really addressed the claim that money came from Mr. Dennis to Mr. Abdullah. So Mr. Abdullah is claiming that, he was paid off by the PNM, specifically Mr. Dennis. However, Mr. Dennis is yet to refute those claims. All he did was confirm that they did have meetings, and Mr. Abdullah was supplying him with some information to use against the current administration. So there's a whole lot going on there, and then it begs the question now that these things are out there in the public. Will the police also go after Mr. Dennis? And we're also hearing of Mr. Chadban, or at least we're seeing evidence that Mr. Chadban was also involved in this. Is the police going to go after those people as well? Because as the lead investigator or the head of the unit yesterday stated at the police press conference, stated that they are going to continue with the investigation based on the information that was laid out in the public. They might have to broaden the scope of the investigation, but again, it's being left to be seen what will happen and what actions will be taken against Mr. Dennis for his part in this whole situation, because it was clear that Okay, so I think we have Mr. Skippy on, Mr. Francis Skippy Thomas. Good morning and welcome to you. Can we hear you now?
Yes, are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Right.
So, Mr. Thomas, now after Wednesday's bombshell of a show, what are your thoughts after I know you were on there for over 2.5 hours with Mr. Abdullah, trying to get some of the truth out, or at least some of his versions of the truth out. What are your conclusions?
My conclusion after that interview with Mr. Abdullah, and I intend to summarize it in total next Wednesday. But my immediate conclusion is, I mean, I don't know how old are you. You look about 17, but
I'm a little
if
bit older than that.
you're right. So you're familiar with when long ago they had things called fairs, these fairs, school fairs, and by the community. And there was something called brand tub, the one with the sawdust, and you have to dip in your hand
Yep.
and see if you get the right. Well, Mr. Abdullah's interview with me was nothing but a brand tub. So I have to go through that entire tub to examine all those gifts, all those gift wrappings to see if there are actually gifts in them.
So with this latest addition to the saga, we had Zorisha Hackett. There was a charge laid against her for not not making a disclosure to the police, specifically fingerprints. And her lawyers actually fighting that to the point where, they have to put a pause on that charge while they deal with the other case that Ms. Kristen Moore is bringing up in defense of Ms. Orisha Hackett. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know what the facts are and the specificity in the matter concerning Ms. Zorisha Hackett and the state, the police and so. But what I do know ordinarily about those issues is this new legislation, the interception of communication and so, is a novel piece of legislation. And for a number of times and on other occasions, not isolated to Ms. Hackett and the boy McKenna. And remember, I don't know the facts of their case. I'm speaking about the general difficulties of the legislation. So generally, the difficulties with the legislation is that there are some clauses in the legislation that have always been questionable, have always raised some constitutional issues and so. So I suspect the basis on which, okay, let me stay away from that matter to say this. Where such an instance arise, then lawyers can, in fact, seek a stay of the criminal proceedings until the court hear to its finality the arguments of any constitutionality of the legislation or any clause therein. And it is my suspicion that is what is happening with Ms. Hackett. So where a stay exists, it would be sensational and perhaps even contemptuous of the court to be publishing and announcing that you laid criminal charges against individuals, whether it be by summons or by arrest, simply because a stay of criminal proceedings mean that the criminal proceedings at this moment does not exist. And so to go and do press conferences and write media release and articles about it is a misrepresentation of what is before the court. And that is, in my respect, a contempt.
Now, in respect to Mr. Ansel Dennis and his role in this whole situation, because it is clear from what was presented on Wednesday that Mr. Dennis did have conversations or was in cahoots with Mr. Abdullah, and Mr. Dennis as well admitted to that. Now, do you think that Mr. Dennis should also be investigated? If the police are investigating the THA executive and other workers within the assembly, should Mr. Dennis also be part of that investigation?
Well, at minimum, what I will say, at minimum, is having revealed what was revealed about Mr. Dennis, that he confirmed, by the way, that he confirmed, then it seemed to me the allegations of the political collaboration exist, even prima facie. Yeah, even at a prima facie level, it exists. And so, yes, I accept that Mr. Dennis should also be the subject of an inquiry, at minimum, to see to the extent to which his political collaboration existed.
And then what does this say now to all of the allegations that came forth from the PNM here in Tobago over the past year and a half against this current administration of the THA?
Well, let me tell you something. Politics is not for the faint-hearted. Politics is not a bishop's tea party. It is the civilized substitute for war. Mr. Dennis leads a political organization. The PNM win government in the THA for 20 years. And the prize is the THA. The methods would get more I don't want to use any descriptive words, but the methods clearly would intensify. That is the word I want to use. The measures would intensify because the THA is the prize. And so what you really have there is raw politics at work. What is new is that it's not the politics Tobago may be accustomed to, but it's politics around the world. So I want to say to Tobago, welcome to 2023.
And then how should the public themselves view all of this that's happening? There's so much confusion. There's so much distraction even from the real business of the day, making sure that proper governance happens right here in Tobago. How should the public be treating with all of this?
I have an old rum drinking partner. You know what he would have said to what you just asked me there? He would have said, a second emotion. Because at the end of the day, while all of this is going on, tit for tat and butter for fat going on between the two political entities, people still see me in the road and tell me they have not got a food card they applied for. Their roof still not fixed. They have issues with drainage. And the point is, this is not assisting the people's lives. So it would seem to me, now that the THA guys and female and the ladies and gentlemen there have a political party, let their political party do the politicking and let them get down to the administration and business of the people of the island of Tobago.
And then, what if you were, advising the executive council at this point in time, and just in light of all of that that's come to light, what should be their next move, or how should they handle things going forward?
The next move is that people did not elect them to sit and listen every single day to a response from Dennis and a response from Abdullah and a response from Rowley. I think that, notwithstanding, I have some reservations about some of the comments made, but I think that the launch of the organization clearly demonstrate their intention and where they wish to take Tobago. I genuinely believe that full autonomy for Tobago is something that this generation ought to receive and ought to see in this lifetime. And I think they have work to do, a lot of work to do. And I think that they would be better off if when the public hear from them, it would be announcing the deliveries, giving timelines and updates on the agenda for which the people have elected them for the period that they are there. And I think they'll do better if those are the conversation we hear from them. Where are we with the autonomy? Where are we with social delivery? Where are we with infrastructure? Where are we going to be next week with people?
Okay, I think we might have just lost Mr. Thomas for a minute. But yes, viewers, we've been speaking, we've been speaking quite a lot about what's been happening in the political space. And there was Mr. Thomas, making the case that, the executive council should be focused on what they need to do for the people further in that conversation about autonomy. And this whole situation did bring to light that the need for autonomy, especially where the police investigations were concerned. Now, the police, interestingly enough, say that they acted properly in their investigations, but we're seeing also from some of the search warrants that we got, there were a lot of inaccurate information put forth in these search warrants, and it begs the question, what kind of work or how thorough was the investigation that the police did in the background before issuing these warrants? What authorized some of the information that went out to these warrants to make sure that they are, they are going within the law and they're going for the right information and all of that sort of thing. And we definitely got a lot to work through where those things are concerned. And, then of course we had earlier this week, we had the Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development making statements saying that, the licensing officer should not be in Tobago without his authorization or his knowledge, I should say. Maybe not the authorization, but at least with his knowledge. And we know that the licensing officers are back once again on the island. Okay, do we have Mr. Thomas back on?
Yes, I am. Yes.
And Mr. Thomas, are you back with us?
Yes, I am. Are you hearing me?
Right, we're hearing you now. Yes, Mr. Thomas, just before you went out, you were talking about, the need for us to move forward with the autonomy conversation.
Yes, and that would be a long battle. That would be a long, cold winter. So you don't want to cause.
I think we missed him out just again. Um, but certainly a conversation that has taken hold even in a greater sense within the space. What I noted over the past few weeks, even I should say past couple months, with as the THA goes around to the different communities and they hold their consultations and they listen to the views of the public, almost at every single one of them, there are members of the public that are coming forth and asking questions about autonomy. And of course, there are varying views as to what this autonomy look like. And there has always been varying views about what Tobago's autonomy should look like. But what is certain is that there needs to be a little bit more power here in Tobago over the affairs of our island. Unfortunately, the THA does not, in its current constitution, does not make laws. It has to send, its recommendations to the cabinet, who then decides when and if they will take it to the parliament for it to be debated in parliament before it can be passed and assented to. It's a very long process. And, the Chief Secretary, Fali Augustine, also made a point that there was a bill in 2019 thereabouts where the Tobago House of Assembly passed to protect the marine spaces on the island, something non-political, something that is needed here for Tobago to have a little bit more jurisdiction and more regulations on our marine parks, because of course our environment is so important, not just to keeping Tobago what it is, but also to our tourism product. And that bill was sent, it was passed by everybody who was part of the Tobago House of Assembly, the Assembly legislature at that point in time. It went to Trinidad and it's on the floor of the cabinet. We have not heard anything. And that bill has obviously not been given priority to be taken to Parliament, to be debated, to give Tobago the authority to manage our spaces effectively. Because, we have some of the challenges that are within the Bucca Reef Marine Park, especially where the touters are concerned. We hear the complaints every day. Even just you as a regular citizen, a regular resident of Tobago, you go down there and you are harassed by these touters. And every time there's been several attempts by many administrations of the THA to sort of control what's going on there. And each attempt has failed. No matter what they've done, it's failed in terms of being able to regularize it. But part of the reason why it failed is because there's no strength behind the regulations that they're trying to do. And that's because we don't have judicial power. And there's nothing that we can really do to sometimes prevent some of these people from doing what they do. And, making our tourism product look bad. So one of the only ways we can do that is for this bill to be passed in Parliament, and it's still at the cabinet level, and we have not heard anything. But that is a reason why Tobago does need its lawmaking powers to be able to affect the necessary changes that are needed on the island. And this and many of the other situations kind of highlighted the need for greater autonomy talks. Now, there are some people that are going as far as saying secession, but the majority, I would say, of Tobagonians don't want secession. Like we just want more power. So, and of course, secession comes with a whole lot of responsibilities, and it's going to come with a whole lot of work as well to get us to a functioning point. So that is not. And then Chief Secretary Fali Augustine made it clear that that's not what he's thinking. He said it many times on several platforms that there needs to be some balance in terms of the autonomy, but it's not secession that they are focused on. And we heard very clearly from the Tobago People's Party launch that the declaration of war, that they are going forth to make sure that they can get the things that they need to get to Tobago. They can do what they need to do for Tobago. it's left to be seen exactly how they would execute those intentions. What they're declaring war. How would they? What form this battle would take? Would it just be utterance? Would it be protest? Would it be petitioning at the level of, I don't know, the UN? It's yet to be seen, and to see how they're going to effect that change. But it's certain that there needs to be some change in Tobago. But going back to the conversation at hand, this revelation or this admission that the political leader of the Tobago Council, Mr. Ansel Dennis, was involved with the whistleblower, Mr. Abdullah. He admitted that he did have conversations with him and he was getting information for him for the better part of a year. And, he needs to, there needs to be some investigation where that is concerned. It cannot be that, you're investigating all these people within the THA, whether they have worked with the THA, whether they've not worked with the THA, because, hey, some of the people that's been listed on the search warrants have never been employed by the THA, interestingly enough. But if you are going forward trying to get devices and do home searches, then perhaps Mr. Dennis knows that he has admitted that, yes, he had involvement with the whistleblower, that he should be investigated. For all, if we are being fair, the police said very clearly yesterday that they are being fair in their investigations, they're being thorough in their investigations. So if they are being fair and thorough, then they need to search all sides of this situation. But one thing is for certain is that this has been so distracting to what's been happening where governance is concerned for the island. Whether the executive council is making right decisions, wrong decisions, or indifferent decisions, the impact it's having on the people. We're not getting to hear that so much, or we're not really getting to see what's going on there because we've been so distracted by all of these accusations that are coming forth. And, we need to get back to a place where we can pay attention to our governance and we can, as a people itself, be involved in our governance and not be too distracted by all of this bacchanal, for want of a better word, So yeah, that's just sort of a bit of what's been going on right here in Tobago. I think we're going to go and take a quick break and we'll be right back. You all love it when I could just talk to myself, huh?
Jimmy's Holiday Resorts has 1, 2, and 3 bedroom, fully self-contained apartments located at the heart of Crown Point. Minutes walk to the popular beaches, restaurants, bars, and the airport. Enjoy our amazing amenities such as fully equipped apartments, complete with Wi-Fi, AC, TV, and a pool, and a mini-mart on the compound. Call 639-8292 or 8929. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts is your family's home away from home.
Are you flood ready? Recycle and properly dispose of large waste. Avoid sweeping yard clippings or trash into drains. Plant trees to avoid soil erosion. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Book your passage and come on over.
Yes, be careful.
Honey,
feel I'm going to start to cook, yes, because these children are hungry now, right? Okay. Oh, shucks. Oh. These plugs, oh my gosh.
Hey, who's that? Hey, come from there. Come from there.
What's going on in here?
Oh God, I should have buy extinguisher, boy.
What would you do if this happened to you? Dial 990 in case of fire emergencies and always have a serviceable fire extinguisher ready and available at all times.
Waiting for CXC results and wondering what's next? Or maybe you're looking to switch careers. Learn a skill to jumpstart your career at the NESC Technical Institute. Get qualified for jobs in the energy and industrial sectors or even start your own business. Choose from automotive, electrical, instrumentation, drilling, welding, fabrication, AC refrigeration, IT networking, and more. NESC diplomas are gate approved. Classes begin in September. Visit nesc.edu.tt to apply.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, viewers. Now we are going into the police press conference which took place yesterday, dealt with the current state of the investigations. So you have a chance now to hear from the TTPS as to what's happening on their end.
A warm good afternoon to every member of the media who is here today. We thank you for joining the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service weekly press briefing. I am Michelle Lewis, Inspector of Police and Public Information Officer. Today we call a special press brief, and at this time I hand over to the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Investigations and Intelligence, Mr. Kurt Simon.
Thank you very much, Inspector Lewis. Good evening to the public of Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening to the media who are present with us today. We did call this press brief as there are some things that are circulating there in traditional and social media that I know have you, our public, Trinidad and Tobago, perhaps a bit perturbed and concerned and probably even curious about perhaps the TTPS response to what is being bandied about in the media. And this, of course, concerns what I hear persons are referring to as a whistleblower. And whilst I would want to refrain from the term, I just want to say that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we are aware of statements being made in the public arena. We are aware of video recordings and audio recordings out there in the public, giving information about certain things happening, particularly in Tobago, and linking the TTPS and perhaps even the government to some of these activities. These are conversations. They also follow allegations that there's some sort of collusion between the government of Trinidad and Tobago and this TTPS, this Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, to remove individuals from holding public office. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service at this stage wish to continually deny and refute these allegations. Further, we are investigating certain reports, and certainly based on what is going on within our investigations and what is being bandied about, we do see that there's a possibility that we would widen the net of our investigations. And of course, these are things that you are concerned about. And of course, our investigative approach always involves analysis of statements, verifying veracity of content, verifying originality of source, and all of these things which you may not be interested in. You recall, even recently, our commissioner stated that there was no interaction with the government or any government or other public entity inspiring or motivating the CTPS to launch any investigation. And in fact, the investigation that I'm here speaking about is that which we had commonly called that was the email, the voice recording coming out from purportedly the Tobago issue. And I am here again to deny any allegation of any collusion or any motivation by any government entity telling the TTPS what investigation to do and what not to do. The TTPS, we continue to operate and carry out our mandate. We continue to do so in a professional and ethical and lawful manner, and we just want to ensure our public that we are here to secure our public's interest, to maintain safety and security in this wonderful Twin Islands state.
We want to really thank the members of the media for being here. Remember, to all members of the public, if you see something, say something, dial 999-555-800 tips, and of course 736 TTPS. This concludes our special press briefing for today. Good afternoon.
And there you have it, folks. Just a little bit of a message from the police themselves as to what's going on with their investigations. And this is what they stated to the public yesterday. And you now have a chance to call in. The numbers are going to be up on your screen very shortly. 284-6597. That's 284-6597. You can give us a call and give us your comments. Do you think that the police what are your views on the police investigation? What are your views on the latest information or that coming out of that interview between Mr. Barrington Skippy Thomas and the whistleblower Akil Abdullah? You got a chance to see the receipts that he had in the form of screenshots of conversations that he had with Mr. Dennis, at least in for his part in this whole situation. What are your views? And, just hearing what's been happening with the Education Secretary, Zorisha Hackett, having a case being taken to court. And now there's a constitutional defense on her part against what the police tried to do or against what the police investigations into her. So what are your thoughts? There's quite a lot to be discussed here in Tobago right now. So 284-6597, 284-6597. What do you even think the truth is in all of this? There's certainly a whole lot to be questioned, even from the whistleblower himself, because we've had the accusation of the story changing several times. I'm not really sure what is the entire truth. But what is certain is that it's been very distracting within this space, and we have not been able to have as much focus on the actual governance of Tobago. So again, the numbers, the line is open, the phone lines are open. So 284-6597, 284-6597. You have a chance to call in and give your perspectives to this and other matters that are within our space. And as we continue with our conversations this morning, we have, great race coming up. I mean, are you excited for that? We have great race coming up tomorrow. It's always, one of the major events on the calendar for Tobago. And then on Sunday, we have the Castara Fisherman Festival. I know there's the Castarians, I would say, they're planning a wonderful event up there on Sunday. So if you're looking for something fun to do, hey, go and check it out. We have 2 days of boat racing. So we have the professionals, or the speedboats, I should say, boat racing tomorrow for the great race, and then we have the Zessa boats, as Marcus Daniel termed it earlier this morning, the Zessa boats in competition tomorrow. So on competition on Sunday, sorry. So that's going to be quite exciting to see about. So yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot happening here in Tobago, a whole lot to be happy about. So again, the numbers are on your screen, 284-6597. So you could call in and give us your perspectives on some matters. On another interesting point, we recently saw from the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, they released their requests, I should say, that request for the national budget that's due either in September or October. The Minister of Finance is yet to give us a date as to when he will be presenting the national budget statements in the Parliament. However, one of the things that I noted on their request, or on their list, on their advisory, was that the government should pay attention to what's happening on the air bridge between Trinidad and Tobago, as they said that 12 flights a day is not enough, because that's where we are, 12 flights a day. Pre-COVID, the number was about 24 flights a day. So we're only about half the flights, and we know the challenges that are faced. I mean, anytime that you think about going to Trinidad, it's like you have to mentally prepare yourself to face with staying hours on the airport and not getting through with a ticket, or trying all kinds of ways to see how you can get down to Trinidad. So, and they're petitioning the government to pay attention to this matter, because even though the air bridge might not be profitable, because that's one of the concerns that Caribbean Airlines has always put forth, that the air bridge between Trinidad and Tobago is not profitable. Even though it's not profitable, the chamber is saying, or they're making it clear, that it's an essential service that is needed, because Trinidad also benefits. The Trinidad business community benefits, because we here in Tobago, we go down to Trinidad all the time to shop, whether it be for school supplies, whether it be for groceries, whether it be for hardware, whatever it is. A lot of our commerce is done in Trinidad, and it's essential. So the chamber was making a case that we need to fix the air bridge here in Tobago. Now, whether or not the government would listen to that, that's left to be said, because they have not been listening. They have not been listening over the past year or so, or even the past few decades. Every July, August, there's always such a concern about getting tickets to go down to Trinidad. And okay, well, we have a caller on with me this morning. Good morning, and welcome to you, caller. Good morning.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling in. So yes, viewers, the phone lines are open, 284-6597, 284-6597. Give us your thoughts on what's been happening. Like I said, there's quite a lot to be talking about this morning, especially where these whole police investigations are concerned. Good morning, and welcome to your caller.
Pleasant good morning to you. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. My name is Paul Sarah, and I'm calling from Trinidad. I must mention the interesting topic. When you look at the air bridge at this present time, right, it is very limited, and I find sorry that for a government who have been into governance for far too long, they should have been able to have more than one boat to Tobago, even though we have more than one, right? Sometimes technical difficulties and mechanical issues happen, so you always have to have a backup plan plan A, plan B. Similar to the ferry that we have in Trinidad and Tobago from Port of Spain to San Fernando, the government stated under Netco that they would have been able to implement one from Point Fortin to San Fernando and one from San Fernando to Shogunas. That way, the traffic would have been able to alleviate, But I think that this government is not serious about governance, and hence the reason why they were a bit defeated in the local election that recently held in Trinidad and Tobago. There's so much pressing issues that we need to deal with, rather than just turning sudden saying, okay, we are developing Trinidad and Tobago in terms of infrastructure. And you spend so much money in terms of billions of dollars in project. And when it is you out of governance now, the other government have to continue, or they fail to continue the project. And these are the things that we need to have some sort of board or pressure group or somebody that could oversee in terms of in terms of transparency and accountability, because the system is so corrupted.
And I don't want to cut you off, but we have another caller on the line, so we want to make sure we get onto them as well. So good morning and welcome to you, caller. Okay, we just lost it. So if you were trying to get in, you could try again. Sorry about that. But yes, keep trying to get in. Yes, this conversation about the air bridge between Trinidad and Tobago, or even the sea bridge between Trinidad and Tobago is a concern, because sometimes I know there was this complaint that sometimes you can't get tickets like months in advance on the ferry, which I mean that's not good business for us here in Tobago. And for those who like to say or complain that sometimes we need to book out our travels in advance, although that's impossible if you are a Tobagonian. That how can you book your tickets in advance if they're not available? So I don't know. That's just something to be concerned about, and we're really, really hoping that we get a resolve to this situation soon, because travel between the islands is so essential, and there are so many people that even come visit Trinidad, and they would love to come over to Tobago, but they're discouraged because you can't get tickets. And we really need to treat this if we are serious about tourism, because the way how things are going, it seems as though we are not, or from the government level, we're not serious about tourism, because we're not making it easy for people to just travel between the islands. All right. So viewers, the phone lines are still open, 284-6597, 284-6597. So give us a call and let me know what are your thoughts on a lot of the things that are happening, especially with the police investigations into the current administration of the THA. The police are saying that they are acting above board. They were not being taking instructions from anybody. Their goal is not to remove anybody or to have a part to play in removing anybody from office. And they were not prompted to do these investigations by anyone themselves. So they are just doing their duty as police officers here in Trinidad and Tobago. So what are your thoughts? We had the political leader of the Tobago Council of the PNM, Mr. Ansel Dennis, come forward and admit that he did have a part to play in this whole thing. Okay, good morning and welcome to you, caller. We have a caller online.
Yes, you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, hearing you loud and clear.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to, any information. I know that there was a stay on the EMA made a stay on the projects they had down in, I think it's Friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the court matter was, I think it was July 25th, somewhere around there. Any word on that?
No, I think there's supposed to be another court case coming up. I can't remember the exact date when the matter is supposed to be heard a bit more. So until then, we have no further information.
Okay, cool. That's it. Thanks very much. Have a good day.
You too. All right, viewers, yes, the phone lines are open, 284-6597, 284-6597. So give me a call and let us know what you think about what's been happening here in Tobago. We've got so much to be concerned about. And, I mean, well, right now, we even saw recently that the Minister of Sports and Community Development is saying to the public, to be patient while they do some work on the Dwight York Stadium, especially with the restroom facilities are concerned, because we're getting more use as we're going forth we're getting more use out of the Dwight York Stadium. Our athletes need to be there quite often to be training and to make sure that they can find their place on the world stage and be representing Trinidad and Tobago as a whole. So, and we've got so many concerns about the Dwight York Stadium over the years, even the management of it and so on. But we heard a message, we saw the message from the Minister, Shampa Kajo, stating that, just be patient. Well, we got a caller on the line. Good morning and welcome to you, caller.
Good morning. I understand your question is, did the police make any service with the news, whatever they had yesterday, whatever you call it? Is that the question I'm relating to?
Yes, ma'am.
It made absolutely no sense. It's better they didn't come on the TV and say anything. And I'm saying this is mind-boggling as to what is happening in Tobago. And I think the outer world has to know what is happening in Tobago. Apparently there is some underworld mafia operating in the police service, because things cannot be coming out and only one side of the fence is being persecuted. If you want to persecute, let it look across the board. And saying that Ms. Hackett and whoever was arrested, and as far as I know, Ms. Hackett and nobody else was arrested. So what the TP police service came out yesterday and said was of no consequence to anybody. What they need to do if they want to persecute people, look at the names being called and persecute everybody, so that we can make a conscious decision that the truth is being told and everybody is being investigated. Don't just look at Ms. Hackett and Farley and whatever. Names are being called, Mr. Dennis, the Prime Minister, the police, whoever. Let us get a proper investigation, and it has to be to me right now, it has to be an outsider, because I don't trust anybody in Tobago.
All right, thank you so much for your comments. And yes, there should be fairness in any investigation. And certainly this information that came out this week calls into question whether or not the police are going to act on that new information and the names being confirmed, or the individuals confirming their involvement in the matter. So we're looking forward to see if that is acted upon by the police, who say that they are acting fairly and they are being transparent in their investigations, right? So yes, viewers, well, we are unfortunately at the end of our show this morning. So I just want to thank you so much for being on with us and for having these discussions with us. It's wonderful to be able to hear from you. But whatever you do this weekend, please remember to be safe, whether you're going to the Great Bridge, whether you're going to Casares Fisherman Fete. Be safe on the roads, and we would see you again tomorrow.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new